الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Today, what number lesson are we on in Arabic? This is the sixth lesson, so we'll put 6 here. Okay? We're dealing with the Ajrumiyyah. Okay, real easy. Ajrumiyyah. Recite the bait to me. From the beginning. Go for it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Loud. Good. Recite loud.
قال ابن أبو واسمه محمد الله في كل أمور أحمد مصليا على رسول المنتقى وآله وصحبه ذوي التقى وبعد فالقصد بذا المنظوم تسهيل منصور ابن أزرومي لمن أراد حفظه وأسر عليه
أن يحفظ ما قد
نصر
الله استعين
في كل عمل
وإليه قصدي
وعليه المتكل.
أيوة. Go on to the next part.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الكلام عند
باب ما الكلام وما يتألف منه. Go ahead.
إن الكلام عندنا فلتستمي لفظ مركب مفيد قد أدي أقسامه التي عليها يبنى اسم وفيل ثم حرف معنى فالاسم بالخفض وبالتنوين أو دخول اليراف فقف ما كفوا وبحروف الخفض وهي من إله وفي وربا والبا وعلى والكاف واللام وأتا ومنذ لعل حتى والفيل بالسين سوف أبكت فعلم التطانسي ميزه ورد والحرف يعرف بالله يقبل لاسم ولا فيل دليلا كبلا.
Alhamdulillah, barakallah fikum. We're on a chapter now, it's called the chapter dealing with kalam and what it's made of, what kalam is made of. So, alhamdulillah, he passed that part and it goes, Inna al-kalama indana faltastami. If you want to know what speech is, kalam, according to us, the people of Nahwu wa Sarf, faltastami. Then listen up. Lafdun murakkabun mufidun qad wudi' aqsamuhu. What is it saying? A sound that comes off the tongue. Murakkabun, more, 2 words or more. Mufidun, speech that's beneficial, meaning that the listener is not waiting for more. If I say, if Makeen comes, is that speech? No. Because you're still waiting to hear more. You know, if Makeem comes, he can have 2 pieces. Okay? So it clears it up. 2 pieces, let's say 2 pieces of what? Cake, for example. So speech has to be beneficial to the point that the listener is not waiting for more words to understand the objective of the speaker. Okay? The parts of speech that speech is built upon, speech is built on what? Ismun wa fi'lun thumma harfun ma'na. So there's only 3 types of words in all speech. That's the point there. Hind, la ta'kuli thaniyan. There's only 3 parts of speech. There is an ismun. What is an ismun? Supernoun. Supernoun. But what is it? Tell me the definition of istilahan. Kalimatun. Kalimatun dallat ala ma'na fi nafsiha wa lam taqtaran bi zaman. It's a word that points to a meaning in and of itself, and it's not tied to a time frame. Give me a noun. Give me a word. Give me one.
Masjid.
Masjid. You give me one. No us. 8. Excuse me? Baitun. That's a place. Give me some. Give me one. Car. You're giving me thing. Okay, that's a thing. Give me one. Kuthum. Ismun. Pay attention. Naam, Ati, Zainab. Hospital. Tabarakallah. Ayub, laysa bishimalik, bil yaminik faqat. Naam, Utini. Window. Tabarakallah. Naam. You know. Paper. These are all. Naam, Hind. What? Dentist. Alhamdulillah, tabarakallah. These are words that point to meanings in and of themselves, and they don't point to a time frame. So that's one type of word. And it's the most powerful type of word. Thumma ismun. Fi'lun. What is a fi'lun?
Action word.
An action word. Give me an action.
Run.
Run. Okay, give me an action. Writing. Action. Talking. Hind. Reading. Tabarakallah. Kulthum. Jumping. These are all actions. Okay? And Ayub. Sliding. Nuh. Looking. All these are actions. Okay? And the action is a kalimatun dallat ala ma'na fi nafsiha wa qad iqtaranat bi ihda thalathata azmina. A word that points to a meaning in and of itself, meaning the word is independent of other words. That's when we say in and of itself. When we say that word, we don't need other words to understand what we're talking about. So that word is independent in its meaning. That will become important to us when we get to other words that are not independent. Okay? When you learn other words that are not independent, then you'll understand what we mean when we say this word is independent, has a meaning in and of itself. And it's tied to one of the three time frames. Either the immediate, which is in order, sit. A present, future, sitting, right? Or in the past tense, when we say sat. Okay, so that is an action word. It's tied to one of the three time frames. The third type of word that is part of the language, speech, and the last one, and the weakest of the three, is called a harfun. And that is the subject of our conversation today. Because we said, ismu fi'lun thumma harfun ma'na. A harfun. Now the rest of the poem that he went on, we'll put off saying what a harfun is. He went on to say, فالاسم يعرف بالخفض وبالتنوين أو دخول ال يعرف فقف ما قفاه. He says, so then if you want to know what an ismun is recognized. فالاسم بالخفض with a kasra. The ismun is recognized if it has a kasra on the end of it, the last letter, then we know that it is a ismun. بالخفض وبالتنوين. If it has tanween on it, at the last letter, then it is what? An ismun. Nothing. Fi'lun doesn't take a tanween. Fi'lun doesn't take a kasra. Right? So the only thing a kasra or a tanween can be on is what? Ismun. An ismun. That's the cut and dry of it. Hind, sit down and stop moving. Ismun bil khafti wa bit tanweeni aw dukhuli out. Or when you have al in front of the word. Al, what does al mean? Al means the. So it says you put al on running. If you put al on running, it's no longer an action. It's a noun. Okay? So it's an ismun. You're going to put al on yajri. He the run. Do you say that? No. The he run? No. You can't say that. So you have to put the when it's dealing with a ismun and not, or al when it's ismun. Or dukhul al yurafu faqfu ma qafal wa bi huruf al khafdi. And then the letters of khafti. When you see the letters of khafti before this, then you know the letters of khafti only come before an ismun. And what are the letters of khafti? Min, ila, wa an, wa fi, wa rubba, wal ba, wa ala, wal kafu, wal lamu, wa wun, wa mudh, wa mundu, wa la'alla. Pay attention. Those are all the huruf al-khafti in the whole Arabic language. There is no extra one for khafti. And what do we mean by huruf al-khafti? We mean by it that when you see this word in front of an ismun, it makes the word have a kasra at the end of it. Can I draw that? Want me to draw that for you? Look, give me a word. You said masjid, right? Everybody say masjid. The asl, originally, I said everything always has what on the end of it? Dhamma, right? It has to have dhamma or tanween. Aslan, it has to have a dhamma. If it doesn't have a dhamma, that means something happened. Okay? So we say min from, we say the. We'll take off the tanween. From the masjid di. Ila al-masjidi. Ala al-masjidi. You see? Fi al-masjidi. So whenever you see these words, min ila wa an al-masjid, he passed the masjid. Min ila wa an wa fi wa rubba. Rubba, that will be going to a person, not a thing. Wal kaf, kal masjidi. Kal masjidi. My house, kal masjid. Right? Because you pray in it and we have a jama'ah. So he said, kal masjidi, like the masjid. You understand where I'm coming from? So whenever you see these words in front of one, it has to have what on the end of it? And if it doesn't, then it should have, if it doesn't have these words, then it should have a dhamma. Until we get to the letters of nasbi, and we get to the letters of jazmi, and we get to the letters of, that's it, the letters of nasbi and that type of thing. Then we would say, oh, we understand it differently. So everybody got that? All right. Now we say an ismun, fi'lun is known by seen. And ismun is known by what? Seen. When you see it in front of it, what does Allah say in the Quran? Sayaqulu. What does it say? Sayaqulu sufaha. Sayaqulu. Sa in front of the word means what? What does it mean? Not I will. Will. But then it says sawfa. What does sawfa mean in front of a word? It also means will. But see, it means, what is the rule? The rule is more letters, what? More letters, more? More letters, more? More letters, more? Everybody put that in your head. When you get to usul al-fiqh, it will make a big, big difference that you know that subtle thing. More letters, more? So, sawfa ta'lamun. Allah says that in the Quran, right? Sawfa ta'lamun. You will know. So sa means will in the near future, sawfa in the further future, right? So we can learn also from this in the tafsir, sawfa ta'lamun, when will they know? In the hereafter. Okay? Sawfa ta'lamun. When will they say, sayaqulu in this dunya? Okay, in this world, they will say that. And the ta at the end of a word, ta of untha. So if I say qala rajul, qala, and I put the ta ta'nif, I say qalat. If I say jalasa rajul, and I want to say a girl jalasa, what do I say, Kuthum? Louder. Jalasat. If I want to say qama rajul, but I wanted to say a woman, what do I say, Zainab? Qamat. Whenever I want to make it feminine, all I do is add the ta of ta'nif. The ta that means whoever did it is now feminine. You understand that, guys? And it's only going to be attached to fi'lun. So all these signs we see in dealing with a fi'lun. But I said there's three types of words. Harf. Take this off the board, please. Now, what's a harf? A harf, it's a little edge thing. Okay? Harf, it's real small. A harf is the smallest words in Arabic language. The definition of a harf is different from an ismun or a fi'lun. It's called a harf because it's so small, its ends don't change at all. They stay the same. So, some harf that you already know. Harf as a definition, I should say, is an kalimatun dallat ala ma'na fi ghayriha wa lam taqtaran biz-zaman. What did I say? It is a word that points to a meaning in something else. So it doesn't have an independent meaning. All the other time we said an ismu kalimatun dallat ala ma'na fi nafsiha. It has a meaning in and of itself. Fi'lun. Ma'na in and of itself, a meaning in and of itself. But now we said a harf, it has a meaning in something else. A harfun is a word that points to a meaning in something else. And you cannot understand its meaning by itself. So it is dependent on further elaboration. Further words for you to understand. No, elaboration was the proper term. You have to elaborate further, give more language in order to understand what that harf is. Like, for example, give me some harf in English. Who can give me a harf in English? A word that needs another word to help it understand. He said in. In. He said from. What's that? Of? What? Of. Okay? I have to think about what that means in English. I mean in Arabic. Okay? But I know it's min in Arabic. Same as from. You know? Give me one, Zay. No arms. What did you say, Ayub?
Chair.
No, because that chair has its own meaning. We don't need another word. When you say chair, we don't need another word to understand chair. We know what a chair is. 4. Yes, Hind? 2. Towards, the same thing. 2 and towards. Give me one, son. No us. Us is not a word. Yes. Excuse me? Why? Good word. But why is different? Because this is istifham. These are adawat, istifham. Letters or words of question. Since. There you go. You got one? No, because the in Arabic is a prefix. It's prefixed to a word. So it becomes part of another word and until it becomes part of that word, you know? So in Arabic, when you put the on a word, it's all now one word. Okay? It's not looked up. Because in actuality, in Arabic, the letter L is the word that means the. The alif is only added because the Arabs don't start on a sukoon. Okay? So the lam is always sukoon. So you put a hamza to there or you put a hamza to qat'i. So if you have another word, you say wal, you drop the qat'i and you use the wasl. If you don't have the wal, you drop the wasli and you use the qat'i. Okay? Do you understand that? So that's why they say that. They say, well, since you can drop the alif by making it waslin, then it must not be part of the original word. Because anything that's part of the original word cannot be dropped. So that's what they say. Actually, the is the letter L. Lam. Okay? Which they attach to a word. Which means more language, more letters, more meaning. Okay? So when you put it there, it means more meaning. It adds more meaning. So this is good enough for us to start with. In, from, of, for, to. Not why, because that's for istifham. But we would say above, under. You guys get my point? Like you said, inside, around, on. These are all words that point to meanings in something else. They're dependent because you need another word to fully understand this. You say chair, well, everybody knows what a chair is, Ayub. But if you say if you say from, they're going to say from what? On what? In what? You understand? Yeah, I'm in. Off. Off what? Get it? Right. So here you see that right there is explaining what these words are. They point to a meaning in something else. Is that understandable, everybody? Well, we're talking about 3 types of words. We call these words what? What do we call them? Connectors. What we translate harf in English, we translate it into connectors. Because that's what they do. They connect speech. Since I went from over here, you need them in the speech. They're salt. They really beautify the speech. Now, can anybody name me some? You name some. In Arabic, we have min, ila, wa'an, wafi, warubba, walba, wa'ala, walkaf, wala. These are all huruf. All of those are huruf. So, recite. It says, وَالْحَرْفُ يُعْرَفُ لِسْمٍ وَلَا فِعْلٍ دَلِيلٍ كَبَلَى. He says here, الْحَرْفُ يُعْرَفُ. A harf is recognized because it does not accept. It does for la yaqbala. Lismin, what the ismun accepts, or what the fi'lun accepts. Meaning you can't say the min. You can't say al min. You can't say min. You can't say ila min. You can't say minun. You can't say minan. You have to say min. Wa ala. You can't add al to it. You can't put tanween on it. Do you understand? You can't say sawfa min or samin. You can't put ta'neath sakina, minat, meaning that it was a female. Nothing from the ismun and nothing from the fi'lun will be there. Yes? No, fadl. Nothing from the ismun and nothing from the fi'lun will be on the huruf. Do you understand that, guys? So, that is why it says, well, ismu yu'rafu. Let me write it down. Could you erase this, please, this whole thing? I'm going to put the bait up and we're going to discuss it. We're not going to discuss it, we're just going to, so you can memorize it. Well, ismu yu'rafu, wal fi'l, wal harfu yu'rafu bi'alla yaqbala. Lismin wala fi'lin dalilin kabala. When it says dalil, it means as a proof to say what it is. Okay? As a proof to say what it is. So it says, wal harfu, yu'rafu. Get this off. It's too wet. وَالْحَرْفُ يُعْرَفُ بِأَلَّا يَقْبَلَ. The harfun is recognized because it does not يَقْبَلَ, it does not accept. يُعْرَفُ. لَا يَقْبَلَ. Pass my book, I want to make sure of some language. 1 second, please. Recite it out loud, say it again. Louder.
باسم ولا فعل دليلا كبر.
بأن لا يقبل. نعم بأن لا يقبل. بأن لا يقبل. لاسم ولا فعل. لاسم ولا فعل دليلا كبلا. Bala. Okay? Now, it says, wal harf, and the harf. Everybody sign that? And the harf, and we need here the connectors, right? The connectors, and we call them what? Kalimatun dallat ala ma'na fi ghayriha. Words that point to meanings in other than themselves. In other words. They point to meanings where? In another word. Meaning they're dependent. They're not independent in their meanings. They're dependent on another word, right? In order to fully understand it. Yu'rafu is recognized. Is recognized. Meaning you can tell. What are we talking about? When you look on a paper, what is this? Is this an ismun? Is this a fi'lun? Is this a harfun? How do I recognize which one it is? فَالْحَرْفُ يُعْرَفُ بِأَلَّا يَقْبَلَ. In that it does not accept. In that it does not accept. It does not accept. That's what it says literally. Allah yaqbala, it does not accept. Lismin, what the ismun, what's for the ismun, and what's for the fi'lun. Okay? Not what's for the ismun, and not what you have for the fi'lun. Meaning, it doesn't take, what is it? A khafti. It doesn't take a kasra. It doesn't take alif wal lam. What else does it have? This one بالخفض وبالتنوين or tanween أو دخول الآل or وحروف الخفض من إلى وعن وفي وربا والباء وعلى till إلى آخره. Right? It doesn't accept any of these things. Right? You won't see the kasra, you won't see the tanween, you won't see the alif wal lam, you won't see min إلى وعن وفي وربا والباء وعلى. You won't see any of that next to a connector, a harf. And nor for a fi'lun, it won't have sa, it won't have sawfa, it won't have ta, ta'nith, sakina, right? It won't have any of those things next to a harf or connected to a harf. As dalil, what is dalil? Proof. As proof that what it is. Because these are proofs. When you see this, this is proof. This is dalil that that thing is an ismun. Does that make sense? When you see sin and self and ta, ta'nith, sakina on a word, that's proof that that's a fi'lun. But as for the harf, al-harfa laysa, hey, Ahmed Zagawi. As for the harf, ليس لها علامة فقس على قولي تكن علامة. حرف ما ليس له علامة. The harf is the one that has no proof, has nothing. And the absence of proof, in this case we can borrow from what's his guy? What's his name? The guy, what's the guy's name? The white guy that was with Bush, and they was saying, no, not that one. Rumsfeld. Rumsfeld, his policy is the absence of proof is proof. You know what I'm saying? That they're doing something. But we can borrow his crazy statement in that regard. You've got no proof that the Muslim are terrorists. That's proof that they're sneaky Muslims. That's the Vietnam thing. Whoever's running is a Viet Cong, and whoever's not running is a disciplined Viet Cong. So shoot them both. That was American policy for a while. When they swing low with a low helicopter. So here, we put it here differently. The absence of proof is a proof that this thing is what? A harf. You understand that? Along with it, I add to it, along with it is that it's small size. It's what? Small size. Okay? Harf literally means shorty, like harf is on the edge, something small. Okay? Real small in size. So, like ka means like. And guess what? Ka is a harf. You see that? It's just one letter. It should be connected, but I let it go so you can see. Ka, because some people say, what is Kabbalah? You mean the Kabbalah? I don't mean the Kabbalah. It means Kabbalah. Bala. Of course. This is of course. And this is like. Ka means like, of course. Okay? Bala. And these are both huruf. This is harf 1, harf 2. That they're using as examples. You can't put tanween on that, can you? You can't put al. You can't put min ka. We change the meanings. Can't see salfa or ta'nith. Call it cat. So you like a female. No, that's not how it goes. Everybody understand that? Very simple lesson. If I don't have no questions at this time, do I have any? Yes, ma'am.
Are there occasions that the harf has two harf together?
There are some occasions. There are 3 types of huruf. I don't want to confuse the people. There are 3 types of huruf. There are huruf that deal with ismun. There are huruf that deal with fi'lun. There are huruf that deal with all 3. Okay, let me repeat the question. She said she's getting a little advanced. Then you wake up, chump. She said there are harf that, what did you say? Is there harf, what did you say?
Before another harf.
That come before another harf. Because I said that harf doesn't come before another harf. Remember, I'm teaching you the rule. Learn the rule. Then after you got the rule solid, then we'll teach you the exceptions to the rule. Everything happens sometimes. But the rule is it doesn't happen. Okay? You understand that? So the rule is that harf doesn't come before another harf. But we do see it. Sometimes. It does happen. So there's 3 types of harf. Some that come just before the ismun. Some that just come just before the fi'lun. Some that come just before the harf, or come before all 3. Okay? So we'll deal with that later on. Right now I just want to familiarize you with this, and I don't want to confuse you. Okay, she's into Alafiyat ibn Malik. Not right now. Okay? So, do I have any other questions at this time? Besides from Ayyub. Okay. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر. Yes, go ahead. No ums. Anybody else have a question? From Chicago? Yes.
You said last time that yes, Imam?
Go ahead.
That when min comes before the word, it takes a kasra.
When min? Right. When any of these letters come before a word, it makes the word that come after it have a kasra.
Now you have exceptions.
There are always exceptions. Learn the rule. For example, the rule is that when min comes before a word, the word that comes after it is going to be or not just min, let's say an, okay? But don't you see when it says an Aishata? An Aishata. And we don't say an Aishati because female words don't take tanween. Because they don't take tanween, we don't put a kasra on them. So instead of putting a kasra, we put a fatha. But that's something that we'll get to in the next 2 chapters. It's 2 chapters from now when we get to, even more, it's in Faslul Alamatul Khafti. And Alamatul Khafti are ka, ya, and fatha. So we'll deal with that when we deal with the signs of Khafti. Do you understand that? Because we'll see that all the time. Or any words that come with a fatha on the end. If you say asma, you don't say min asma'in, you say min asma ila asma binti Abi Bakr. Why? Because in this case, her name ends with a fatha. So, with an alif, I should say. So you cannot put a kasra on an alif. Does that make sense? So there's exceptions to the rule, but learn the rule. The rule is that all the words that come after an, wa min, wa ila, and an, and all the rest of them, take what? Kasra. If there's no more further questions about the exceptions, and everybody else just learn the rule, أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم.